Hello, it's Mo. I recently quit my office job of 2.5 years without the next thing lined up and found myself getting much more out of the would have been work days through Chicago's museums. I know. Chicago's museums are grand, but they're not quite budget friendly. You're right. Especially not compared to other cities' free or affordable scenes, and especially not now that I do have all the time on my hands, but zero income. Still, what if I told you I found a way to visit the Art Institute of Chicago for $0? Trust me, keep watching. For fellow neighbors with daytime availability, or anyone curious about what Chicago has to offer, I'll show you 6 free ways to explore our museums, from the mainstream spots to overlooked neighborhood and suburban staples. Afterward, comment your favorite spot or request a next one for me to explore. Thanks for being here. Yay! It's true. You can spend $30, $50 on any given day, anywhere, especially in Chicago, if you're not careful. Thankfully, if you are able to look ahead on your calendar, you can find endless free opportunities, such as free venues like Third Spaces, free events like block parties, or even free activities like the Illinois Free Days for museums. All right, on to our list of 6. We'll start with the Field Museum, world-famous natural history museum. We're starting here on the lakeshore because the Field Museum is one of those with seasonal free days for Illinois residents during slower or colder months. I was lucky to catch a remaining one in March, off-season for visitors, on a Wednesday. I went right when they opened for 4 whole hours. About an hour per exhibit, I guess, before I decided I'll simply explore the rest of the galleries I missed on a future free day. On these days, be sure to reserve your tickets online ahead of time in case they sell out of general admission. My friend and I reserved our free entries but decided to opt into the paid special exhibits. This season was Africa Fashion and All About Cats, Predators to Pets. This free GA and paid special combination is still cheaper than a regular day's GA. Going when they opened was a smooth experience, and I only started to notice longer queues or thicker crowds through the lunch hours. The museum also provided many interactive options if you looked a bit deeper. For example, Africa Fashion had a QR code leading us to a curated playlist as we walked through the exhibit, which also had sensory-friendly displays available to touch as you admired the textiles in front of you. It was funny because the plaques themselves were smooth, flat, and plain, so they didn't do much itself while you were looking at these so interesting and cool and textured textiles that you just wanted to touch. But it did help me fidget a little bit. It's amazing to know these pieces were all done by human hands. My favorite part of this exhibit was knowing it included more modern pieces from Black artists as new as 2023 and 2024 as well. Cats, Predators to Pets also had many mini screens to touch or headphones to listen through and learn more about the displays. This exhibit was definitely more family-friendly in its engagement pieces and ways it depicted cats' abilities. The Predator portion still had a bite to it with taxidermy displays of wild fighting and pouncing. Although I could not get over the cute, nameless cat character that guided us through the displays. It was my first time at the museum, so naturally I visited the big one that brought us through 4 billion years and counting of life on Earth. It's spectacular. The exhibit itself, yes, but also the fact that every piece of work here, from the displays, pieces, and educational text to the floors, lighting, and all, were curated by people. Seriously, before you even enter this exhibit, you can watch professionals clean and study fossils. Obviously, every museum anywhere will have, an incredible team of people behind the scenes, but it was just so evident here. This museum has dozens of thousands of artifacts and hundreds of researchers working in and out of Chicago all the time. Still, its presentations are quite palatable for any knowledge level to take in new information. It, again, is so impressive. My favorite part of my visit was watching a parent bring two young children around, and each of the children had their own notebooks and pen. The older one was writing down their own notes, and the younger one simply drew bugs and wrote the word bug. And that is truly what museum going is all about, allowing ourselves and encouraging others to stay curious. The Field Museum is truly fantastic. My 4 hours there only barely scratched the surface of all that they can offer you. There are dozens of other galleries that I cannot wait to come back for. May 2026 is also definitely noted on my calendar for the Pokemon Fossils exhibit, which is being hosted in Chicago, yes, but outside of Japan for the first time ever. Across the street in the same museum corridor, the Shedd Aquarium is the only one on this list that is not free, but before you skip ahead, I have to show you this cute media that I got with my friend when we visited because they knew somebody who works there and therefore had extra free tickets. So outside of the main 6 that I'm telling you today, that's just a bonus tidbit. Maybe befriend somebody who works at a museum. The Shedd, the Field Museum, Adler Planetarium, and other nearby attractions can all be accessed by the Chicago Museum campus parking. If you get there at an opportune time, you could take advantage of the classic Park Chicago street parking. But if not, there is a big lot servicing all these places for day rates. Even without entering the buildings, it's nice to stand out and enjoy the lake for what it is. Back to our list of free, which is the point of this video, the Museum of Contemporary Art here offers free admission for anyone under the age of 18 always, or free for Illinois residents on Tuesdays from 5 to 9 p.m. You only need to arrive and share your zip code before exploring. Complete with a cafe bar on the first floor and a complimentary coat check on the second floor, we were comfortable exploring the MCA for as long as we wanted. The parking garage is paid with steep, timely rates, and street parking is usually full by this time, so you should plan to commute to cut costs. This is not my first time at the MCA, but it was my first time even exploring the outside space since it was not negative degrees outside compared to the previous times I went. Exhibits do change every few months, so it makes revisiting that much better. Contemporary art is interesting to me, someone who is not at all trained in the world of art. I am more in awe of what I see from older periods of time, yet I am more emotional interpreting more modern and contemporary pieces. Through it all, the MCA store is truly something remarkable. It is a popular store for everyone's gifting needs, and I can see why. From books and knickknacks to functional or display pieces of art, and from museum displays themselves to even Miffy. Yes, most other gift shops do a similar thing, but there's something about seeing that character on the shelves that make you feel seen. That this museum gets it. Gets you. Or me, if you're not into Miffy. But who isn't? After calling it a night on Tuesday with the MCA, the next day, any Wednesday out of the month from, I believe, 4 to 7 p.m., you can hop on over to River North right off the Magnificent Mile and explore the Richard H. Driehaus Museum. You only need to provide your Illinois zip code before you can enter and really immerse yourself in this Gilded Age home turned museum. I only have photos to share on this section because 1, I wanted to be more present with my friends, and 2, the front desk person definitely told us no videos whenever we first came in. The upper floors rotate about 3 to 4 times a year, and the entire building itself has been conserved and updated in a way that is very true to the 19th century. Even the gift shop on the top floor doesn't quite feel like a cash grab, but rather another room for you to find yourself in and immerse yourself in the original family's sewing room. When I went with my friends, we got to see the current exhibit that is of Rory McGowan? Rory, who is a popular musician and artist in his time. He had nothing to do with the original family or Driehaus himself, but that's part of the beauty and amazement of this building. You can come in, you can see the Gilded Age home and kind of wealth and notoriety that the original family had. You can learn more about Driehaus and how he was able to kind of swoop in and preserve this house for us today. And 3, see the rotating artists' exhibits and galleries and just have another museum day. I love sharing museum visits with fellow creatives because it really inspires us time and time again to lean further into our crafts, especially reading about and learning that these late artists were so successful and talented throughout a shorter lifespan than those that our generations and future generations are projected to be able to experience. Seriously, what do you mean Mr. Rory did all this great work in just 50-something years? I mean, that's why I'm starting this YouTube channel at 20-something. I gotta get on it somehow. Also on any Wednesday out the month, except this time it's all day during their opening hours, consider warming up your car's engine and taking it out to the suburbs toward the Lizzadro Museum of Lapidary Art in Oak Brook. It's free to everyone of all ages and of all residencies. The Lizzadro Museum has permanent collections of Chinese jade carvings, European mosaics, dioramas of carved material, and rocks and minerals more relevant to Illinois itself. This is a small building, so folks can likely speed through in under an hour, but I was solo this time and I like to take my time. In studying the details on these pieces, I ended up taking about 1.5 to 2 hours myself. I mean, really, can you believe they looked at stones and said, yeah, I'll turn this into an intricate incense burner or pagoda or 10-panel folding screen for our leader's 80th birthday? I can't believe it. It's all here in the suburbs, and it's all quite breathtaking. Instead of walking through varied timelines or countries, you can expect to study similar materials grouped together. One display grouped ivory all together, but the pieces were from general Europe, France, Italy, and China all in one case. There is one special exhibits room that rotates every so often. When I visited, they just opened their fan favorites collection, including mini mosaics celebrating the new Pope and other beautifully intricate carvings, including butterflies and various florals. With any given exhibit here, you can definitely plan your visit instead of having to squeeze it in before an exhibit leaves. If you do live closer to Oak Brook and are interested in other events that they're hosting, probably paid, I'll say that, check out their calendar. I walked past the lecture hall full of people, wondering what they were learning. Even without that event, I was still able to sit and watch a few of the educational TV screens that the building had. Again, this place is majorly a permanent collection, but there is a bit of something for everyone here, especially if you can visit during a free day. Taking it back to the city, back to the loop even, we find ourselves at the Art Institute of Chicago. Like the Field Museum, with which we started today's video, the Art Institute does also have seasonal free days, which you should double check throughout the year. Still, if you want to visit during a peak season or on a day of the week that's more convenient for you to attend, you can sign up with your Chicago Public Library card. Yep, they do that. You get 1 free admission to the Art Institute with your library code annually. Finding this smaller print on their website also led me to realize you can claim so many other free or discounted opportunities with that same card of yours. This is why I will always encourage everyone to use their library card. And if you don't already have yours as a Chicago resident, please, they're open on the weekends. They're available online. Just please, I beg of you, get your library card. The Art Institute is a classic and a must-see for anyone new to Chicago, especially. But as someone who has paid the $20+ to visit before, and I am just expecting to live a normal week in the life despite having a visitor come into town, I did not have the funds to go again. So there I was, clicking about, scrolling about on their website, looking for anything that would help me out, and sure enough, again, it's in small print, but it's there. Physically leaving the Art Institute, you can also visit the Buckingham Fountain, the Bean, and the Chicago Cultural Center, all 3 of which are always free to the public. The Cultural Center also changes its art exhibits every 3 months or so. Even if you visit during the same exhibition time as you had seen previously, I mean, Looking at those grand Tiffany domes never gets old. There have been 2 instances as well when I've brought visitors into the Chicago Cultural Center to look at the domes and not necessarily the art exhibits, and we found ourselves in the middle of the staff members setting up for a free public event. Always free and always worthwhile. I will forever support this place. Thank you for watching through. Seriously. Museums really are such a nice way to remind ourselves and our loved ones of the importance to stay curious, to remind ourselves of how small yet impactful we are, and thus be a forever learner, forever creator, and forever active participator of life. This is why we need to lean into the cheap and free offerings when available to us. Culture and connectivity are the richest things we can have. Be sure to subscribe to me at Hello Mango Mo to figure out more of life together in and around Chicago, wherever I go. Until next time, be well. That's Nelson Mandela on cloth?
Yeah.
It's cool.